well, maybe if we go on this show, we'll be able to dive into the darker parts or the lighter parts that we see in each other, explore the things that are maybe not being talked about naturally, because it felt like it was going to be intense therapy. I didn't, expect it to be an isolation tank of, mental
Misery.
trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. They should rename the show that Isolation Tank of Mental Trauma. Yeah. It kind of rolls off the tongue.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited. Good guest.
Yeah, it is a good guest. It's a guest that I think we've been curious about.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a controversial guest.
Maybe.
This gentleman in question had a lot of people talking.
Yeah.
And he certainly had us talking. We talked a lot about this.
We talked a lot about Nick.
It's kind of weird to know that we're like now talking to someone we've talked about so
we've
much.
Talked so much about Nick.
Yeah.
But all good.
Yes. So our guest today is from the Ultimatum season 3, the most recent season. He's a star and an artist and also questionably a cuckold. We'll get to that. Nick Tramontin, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm really glad to be here, guys. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank
Likewise.
you. So today we're going to talk about you. We're going to get to know you. We've decided this is going to be a confessions episode. So all we ask for is your honesty.
I think you guys know that I'm pretty honest no matter what. You do a fault sometimes.
So Nick, we're going to go back in time now. Because you are a reality TV alum. You went on the Ultimatum. What a crazy thing to do.
I wouldn't have guessed it would be something I would do in my life.
Was it on a lark?
I think you guys have heard different versions of the story from, me dragging her on there or, saying that I wanted to do it. It was presented to me from Shandy. I had no real history of the show, of knowledge. I knew that it existed, but I didn't dive into it. It just seemed like there was a lot of happy couples. I guess that's because I only watched the second season.
Happy couples. That's it. Ultimately, just happy couples. Yeah. No problems there.
It looked like it was a nice opportunity for couples to maybe explore something that they hadn't explored in a container that was a little bit obscure and find a way to come back to each other. So when Sandy presented it to me, I said, hey, this might be fun. I knew she'd be a star, and I was always encouraging her to be more present on social media and push that path. So I said, why not? Let's do it.
So I want to know more specifics. I want to know the exact moment. What was happening when this first came up? How did this get broached?
Was it over dinner?
Yeah, I want to know.
The first conversation was definitely over the phone. And she was expressing that she didn't even know if the casting director was legit or if they were just trying to get her to. It didn't seem like she believed that it was true. And I took a look at it and had a conversation with the casting director. And I said, this seems pretty darn legit. So why don't we, when we get together in the next week, we'll sit down and talk about it and see if we both want to do it. At that point, everything was pretty light and jovial. I think that I tried to keep it lighthearted and fun. I thought it'd be fun. I really did. We have always been an open-minded duo because we started off as very good friends that were intimate, but she was not quite ready for a relationship. So when that was when we started dating, and then about 6 months later, I said I really want to I want us to commit to each other.
You wanted to go steady.
Yeah. I want you to be my girlfriend. I'm ready for that. And she wasn't ready yet. She still was very honest about it, that she just wasn't quite ready to settle down. She still wanted to see me, but wasn't ready to fully commit. I honored that, but I said, that's not what I'm looking for at this point. And I just have to set a boundary around that and love you from afar, but we're not looking for the same thing. So I started to see somebody else. And then she changed her tone quite rapidly, which is ironic.
Oh.
Wow.
That's always how it goes.
Came full circle, I guess.
Yeah. We always talk about that.
Yeah,
how
but
you want to be with someone who wants you even when you're not with someone else.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. If who wants you when they have you.
Right. You guys basically played one round of jealousy ping pong and then it was over.
Yeah. I mean, the show is a different situation than the situation I was in handled, with as much grace as I could by having to break up with somebody that I was seeing. But she knew about Sandy, and she knew that it was something that I wasn't fully over. So it was a difficult conversation, but I gave it enough space and time where it wasn't like, totally jumping ship. But yeah, then Sandy and I were exclusive, and we were probably together, I don't know, 8, 9, almost a year before the show was presented to us.
You said you wanted Sandy to commit to being your girlfriend, but the structure of the show is you actually get married. So was it really like you just wanted her to commit to be your girlfriend and you wanted the show for that? Or did you actually really want her to be your wife?
So we went to a wedding maybe a month before or 3 weeks before we went on the show. We didn't actually find out that we were on the show until we did our psych evaluations, all the things while we were traveling. And through that experience, I started to kind of feel like, I think this is my person. I always had so much love for her. I was deeply, deeply in love with her, and she the same to me. But we definitely had differences when it came to lifestyle. I'm older. I've had that party, go out, socialize, all that. I've had it, and she's in the thick of it. Her friend group is immense. And I just kind of want to take a beat, slow down, maybe move somewhere else. So I think that's where we had kind of a lack of commitment for the future. And I thought, well, maybe if we go on this show, we'll be able to dive into the darker parts or the lighter parts that we see in each other, explore the things that are maybe not being talked about naturally, because it felt like it was going to be intense therapy. I didn't, expect it to be an isolation tank of mental
Misery.
trauma. Yeah. Yeah.
They should rename the show that.
Isolation tank of mental trauma.
Yeah. It kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it really does.
So the girl that you broke up with to go on the show with Sandy, is that Dunzo or is that the girl you're with now?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's not who I'm with now.
Got it. And I have to get this out of the way. Have you and Sandy ever been to a swingers party?
Together.
Not together.
Okay.
I don't think she's ever been.
Okay. Well, he confessed that on the show, actually.
I know.
Where he said, never have I ever been in an orgy.
Right,
and then she was like, but you have been to a sex club, a sex party.
Yeah, it was undetermined what was going on.
I enjoy meeting people who enjoy their life. And I think, especially as somebody who pulls inspiration from, life, love, all these things, seeing people in alternative lifestyles and being friends with them doesn't mean I have to participate, but I find it fascinating.
Oh, ditto. So
Yes.
most people who go on reality TV, I think they would look back and say they learned something about themselves or learned a lot about themselves. What would you say you learned about yourself?
I learned to listen to my gut. I think that I let things get a little out of my control because I was listening to, whether it be production or other cast members or I felt that something was off with the setup, and it just, every time you get that nervy feeling that something's not right for you, take a second and have clarity, meditate on it, don't try to numb and, try to escape, because I was really trying to stay in a bad situation by, escaping that situation mentally, drinking or, whatever it was. That I also have to clear up. I never did drugs on the show.
Okay.
Honestly, if I had them, I probably would have done them.
I would expect you to. It's a rough situation.
No joke, but I was drinking a lot. So I had issues with ketamine before the show. It was used. I used it for therapy at first, and then I got into it. But never like cocaine or any of that stuff. I was into psychedelics. That was my thing. So when I got to the show, that was the only thing you could really do is drink.
Do you feel at all like the show maybe preyed on that? Like, were they offering you many a drink, or was this? I'm just curious.
It's a good question. I don't know. I want to believe the best in people.
Of course, but there's no denying that drunk Nick might make better TV than not drunk Nick.
Right. That's true. And the thing is, you guys see a lot of drunk Nick. What you don't see is, me painting, going off-roading, skateboarding, doing my thing as somebody that was alone the whole time. And also working through a lot of the emotional stuff that I was going through verbally and talking about it and talking about my feelings and expressing what the hardships were. Also expressing that I knew that had I been with somebody on the other side, had, Vanessa stayed, or had I met a match that was more in line with me, I certainly would have stepped into the experience. I don't know if I would have stepped in the same way that Shandy did, because I think we just are different people. But it was never that I was angry with her for finding a match or having the experience. I just felt like something shifted dramatically once we got on that show, and her energy towards me was different than I would have anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned about human nature having watched yourself back on TV and just seeing the response? And what has surprised you most based on the response to you?
Yeah, from the fans, or lack thereof.
It's really interesting to see people jump to conclusions based on seeing a very small portion of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple things that surprised me about Vanessa. We were having a good time. We were laughing a lot. The things you saw between her and I were very genuine. And, what people don't necessarily see is that first night that we moved in together, she was very upset about Dave. For whatever reason, her energy shifted away from me and towards that. And I was okay with that. I understood. She did end up going back towards me energetically that night. But then that next morning, it was cold in that house. Like, it felt as if she did express to me that she was uncomfortable with the production, maybe having, eyes on her work. And she just seemed like she was kind of put off by certain things that were going on, and that the cameras were following her. And I'm like, this is kind of a whole deal. But it definitely shifted. And there were a couple moments throughout that day where I had asked her, do you want to go to the grocery store? She said yes. And then she wasn't around. I do believe at that point she was meeting up with Dave. I will fully own that I was drinking, and it was very hard to go from we were drinking every day and dating a week, right? You're basically on a dating bender.
Yeah.
And you're consistently going out and going to dinners and drinking and flirting. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, you move in. And I had bought alcohol for the place. And I was, I had a few sips probably at a time that I shouldn't have. And I think that she got put off by me being more still wanting to party or play or whatever it was. And she was kind of in work mode. We just missed each other there. So I was more surprised at the reunion, because even after her leaving, we had stayed in contact.
You and Vanessa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And in a healthy way. I offered to leave as well. I said, if this is something that I need to leave, let me know. And she said, I think it's better for you to stay. We've decided to leave on our own reasons. And I said, okay, well, I just want to let you know I haven't said one negative thing about you. I think you guys are great. I honor you guys choosing the relationship, and whatever I can do to support that. And she was like, I appreciate that. I have all the messages. And so it was a big surprise to hear her feel so much disdain towards me. But that's her experience.
Yeah, she kind of came in hot, honestly.
Do you, and I'm not judging you here or suggesting anything, but did you remember ever blacking out from drinking too much, or were you cogent the whole time?
No, I was aware. I was just drinking, and there were conversations between us that the cameras don't see, which I was expressing how unhappy I was that Shandy was moving into the relationship with JR that quickly. Even though she was diving in, I felt like it was a super direct hit at the respect of the relationship with me. She could have done everything that she did with JR and whatever she wanted to do, and while also having more integrity for keeping, I don't know, the respect of the relationship. I can't speak for Vanessa. I thought I knew her. I don't. Clear. And I think that's just where I have to be settled with it. I certainly don't feel like there's I would have loved to have a positive relationship with her and connection, but it doesn't seem that is ever going to be the case.
I feel like reality of suddenly living together is probably pretty jarring.
I think the structure of the show is just very odd.
We had never seen the show before your season, and we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe that suddenly you're shacked up with someone else. We're like, this is amazing. It's amazing
I didn't even
TV.
know the structure of the show until it actually happened. Like I was watching the show, I was like, this could be interesting. I'm not sure what the point is.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, I see what the point is.
It wasn't until Dave expressed interest in Mariah. We were like, what?
I was like, you scumbag. How dare you? Have respect. And I was like, oh, that's the thing you do. Did you expect this to go down differently? Like what was your vision of how this would happen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Sandy said it. I was in. I'm like, let's go meet other people that are interesting and see if it makes us, if it makes or breaks us. I was totally in for the experience. Obviously, I didn't have the same experience she had, but I also don't think I had the type of individual that maybe would have been a better fit for me. I think that I thought Vanessa was.
I did. I thought so.
Yeah, and there were some things that she shared with me off camera that she didn't want the cameras to catch that I was like, oh yeah, we could be a vibe. This could be fun. And it didn't. So
well, you lied about being homeschooled, Nick. That's what happened.
I mean, that's the most ridiculous. Like, why would anybody lie about it's
how dare you?
It must be a minimum of 2 semesters. Everybody knows that. A minimum of 2.
I think it was 2 semesters.
It was 2 semesters.
Well, how long was it?
It was a year and a half. And
wow.
it wasn't something that I was like super stoked on. I mean, I went to a big public high school with, just a lot of different personalities, and I didn't fit in. So my parents decided that it would be better for me long term to homeschool the rest of my high school career. I mean,
that was one of the more ridiculous burns I think we've ever seen on television.
Yeah. That to me is sort of semantics.
Like, that's the best you got. Q is for the quality I look for in clothes and stuff. You is the person sitting in front of me with that quince bag. IN is the opposite of going out from something. C is the thing I say when you get quince and you realize that it's really great and use the last letter.
Andy,
I ran out of song.
No, it was perfect. So you did draw attention to my quince leather handbag. We're going to talk about my handbag today because I carry this all the time and it's like the handbag I always wanted. Okay, first of all, it's black and gold. This is something that bothers me when the hardware is just automatically silver and it doesn't go with anything. Worn as a crossbody, but the strap is removable in case I only want to carry it like a shoulder bag. It's huge. It carries so much stuff. I honestly think my iPad can fit in here.
Oh, definitely.
Look, oh my God.
You can fit 2 iPads, 3, 4 iPads in
It just
there.
fit right in
everyone's
there.
iPad.
No issue. It's 100% Italian leather. Okay, so let's put in this bag fancy designer brand, like a little label.
Yeah, like Holce and Gabbana.
Okay, I mean, that bag that you're talking about is like between $1,200 and $1,500. Let's say the label is a Moch. That bag is going to be between $500 and $700, but you'll never guess how much this quince handbag costs.
I actually forgot how much it costs, so I can actually play this game.
Okay.
$425.
$119.90. I wear it so much more than bags that I've spent 2-3 times more on, which is kind of annoying, but also just makes me love this bag. I also have it in another color. I've gifted it to my sister in their taupe color. Okay, so Quince. What makes Quince so special is that they partner directly with the manufacturer so they can pass these incredible savings on to you, the customer. We are talking savings of 50 to 80% less than what you would normally see for pieces of this style and quality. It's at the point now where all my friends, we all have Quince on our wardrobes, and it's often like, oh, where'd you get that cute vest? Oh, where'd you get that cute cardigan? Blah, blah, blah. It's always a Quince. Oh, Quince. Oh my God, it's Quince. Really? It was Quince? How much was it? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Good conversation. So upgrade your closet this year without the upgraded price tag.
Go to quince.com/Shandy for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order.
That's QUINCE.com/Shandy to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/Shandy.
So Charlene, as we get older, which we all do, we just got older right now, as I said that.
Oh no, we're older than we were when we started this ad.
And when you just said that. What can we do about this? You know what we can do about it?
What?
We can take Fatty 15 every day.
That's right, Fatty 15, because C15 is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in a whopping 90 years.
90 years. You want to be taking a 90-year-old fatty acid?
It's true. Or do you want the hot new fatty acid on the market? C15 isn't like those other fatty acids. It's a cool fatty acid.
Yeah, when C15 comes down the block, it's slow motion and there's a cool song
with
playing.
wind in its hair.
Yeah, with wind. Yeah. And cool pants.
Yeah. So studies have found the first new nutritional deficiency in 75 years, and it's called cellular fragility syndrome. And this is caused by a lack of C15. C15 is a sturdy fat that repairs age-related damage to cells and prevents future breakdown.
I mean, what more do you need than that?
No, it's so cool. When your cells are supported by this sturdy fat, you have improved metabolic liver and heart health. You have smoother functioning joints. You have better sleep. You even have healthier hair, skin, and nails.
Any one of those things is enough reason to take
Well,
this.
that's the thing. Any one of those things is something you might take a supplement for.
I've seen whole forums talking about how good this is for your hair alone.
C15.
Forget about the other benefits. C15.
Really?
Yes.
You went.
I saw Reddit. And fatty 15 is 100% pure C15.
Yes.
There's no additives, there's no fillers, there's no nothing.
And I love this too. Fatty 15, it comes in a really cute bottle. And then when you get the refills, it's just the pills without a whole new bottle. So you just empty it out. And you can tell how much we've been taking our fatty 15. I mean, look, we're almost
Actually, was I not getting stressed out this morning?
Yes.
I asked. I was like, did you order new fatty 15?
Yes, and I had because,
And you had, but you're on top of
I'm
things.
on top
You're
of everything.
Good wife. So fatty 15 is on a mission to replenish your C15 levels and restore your long-term health.
Our listeners, the Shandies, can get an additional 15% off their 90-day starter kit by going to fatty15, that's fatty15.com/shandy, and using code Shandy at checkout.
Squarespace. Oh, you went.
Gregorian chant jingle, Auntie, for
Why
Squarespace.
Not? Why not?
No, but seriously, Squarespace, I think we give it Gregorian chant because Squarespace is OG.
Because it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's a heavy situation.
Yeah, it's a heavy operation. It's your destination for making a beautiful website with little to no website design experience. And if you haven't heard of Squarespace by now, I mean, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah, you're beyond help.
You are. Yeah, you've been living under a rock, possibly intentionally so, in which case I kind of respect it.
Yeah.
But truly, if you're living in the world we all live in, you probably need a website. We're just the messengers. Don't be mad at us.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, when I am about to book someone for a service or I'm like curious about their, I don't know, legitimacy in something, I look at their website.
Of course. You know, there's a disease in the world and there's a vaccine for it. Take the vaccine. The vaccine is Squarespace. The disease is the internet.
So with Squarespace, you choose from one of their beautiful website templates. And what's so great about these is you can narrow down your selection based on what your website's purpose will be. And that's pretty helpful because maybe you're an artist, maybe you provide a service, maybe it's an e-commerce site. And so you choose that template. And then from there, you can plug and play your information, your graphics, your photos. And also you can now add in features to further make it yours and make it do exactly what you need it to do. And that's why Squarespace is so great.
So go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Again, that's squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Well, so to backtrack slightly, you told Vanessa that you would be willing to leave as well. Looking back, do you wish you had?
I don't know. Because the thing is, what people don't see is how much progress Sandy and I made together when we were back together.
Mm.
And was it enough progress for us to stay together? Maybe not. But I also think that it's tricky because she didn't have the experience that I had of having that like risk, right? Like I'm sitting there alone. She knows I'm alone. She's attracted to somebody else having experience with that.
It was not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in agreement.
I think I should have left for the alone time. I think that I should have had the conversation with the producers and said, like, I'll leave for these couple of weeks and then I'll come back. But they wanted me and Mariah to spend time together. They were trying to kind of like, nudge that. And Mariah and I were very friendly, but there was no, chemistry on that level. And I do think that one of the things I felt like I was adding value to was I was able to give Caleb some perspective on what Mariah was feeling. I think that in the span, like in the bigger picture of the show would be an advantage to couples. Having somebody kind of be their eyes and ears that, that is in a different situation. But
we have to touch on Mariah quickly.
Yeah, we got to talk about Mariah.
Because there was that one scene where Mariah tells Sandy at the girls' night that she doesn't think you are, what was it?
Would make husband material.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
How did that feel watching that back?
It was a real bus throwing under.
Yeah, I was really surprised to hear that because we had a really good friendship. And, I think Mariah is a good human being. I don't think she meant to take me down. And I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt here. I believe that she was seeing that we weren't right for each other. And she was kind of maybe too afraid to be in an argument with Sandy. I don't know. I think that Sandy was able to float around the gals in like a lot of non-confrontation. And I don't know. I also know that Mariah was calling Caleb every night for 2 hours and telling me that she was not speaking to him at all. And so there was, I just don't want to air like people's stuff. I feel like everybody's kind of going at each other. And the weird part about this thing is after the production lets the cast go, like it's in our best interest to support each other in our journeys moving forward. Like, especially with social media and attention. And like, it's wild that so many people are going each other's throats, but
I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to have your phones on the show.
I agree.
Personally.
I agree.
Oh, you agree? Oh my God, that's so validating.
I think it's super toxic. I think it, they also shouldn't place you to live directly below your other person.
You should be in a completely different, complex, preferably neighborhood.
And they should have single people lined up that are like whatever, like, backup cast.
Yes.
Temptation
Backup
Island
singles.
style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so just to circle back, because I really do want like an answer to this question. That's why I'm holding you to it. Because I think it's really interesting when someone goes through what you went through on this show. And I don't mean to paint you as some sort of victim, because I don't think you are. But I also think you had, bar none, the most indisputably challenging set of circumstances to work with. And then you come out with, I think, sort of like a very mixed response. Some people are very team Nick. Some people are very like anti-Nick. What would you say surprised you the most about the response to you? And what did you learn about human nature?
I don't think that I understood that the internet was this cruel.
Okay.
Nick.
I didn't. I mean, I lived in a bubble. I'll say that. I never really put myself out there like this. So I think that I feel like I've learned that in this space, you have to be very cautious of who you trust. And there are a lot of people who will throw you under the bus to advance their narrative or whatever it is, no matter what. And that's not a space that I operate in. I don't. I would rather take the harsh truth, figure it out, find a better outcome than try to mix up signals. And I started to look at it in a perspective that I think helped that I was a character in a play. And I tried to remove myself from the ego of, it being a direct attack on me, because the people that were attacking me have no idea who I am. Zero time with me. They have an opportunity to see a tidbit of some of my worst stuff and, take it and run. And I hope that more people are interested in actually getting to know who I am, but people are going to have their opinions. I've also stepped up and said there's no reason for people to say the things they've been saying about Shandy. Like, it was a disappointing experience for us, but she does some of the name calling and things that were said about it's gross.
It's harsh.
Like, it's too much.
What would you say is the most common misconception about you that you have seen?
There have been some pretty gnarly things said about me. So that I'm unstable, that I'm a narcissist, that I am a coke addict, that I'm a hardcore drug addict. I've had my bouts with stuff. I've also, recognized and realized that I'm using something to try to get away from being in the present moment. Like, I need to take accountability. And I did that after the show, especially with alcohol, which I never thought was an issue in my life.
First of all, I think that if you put any guy in America in your exact same situation, more than half of them would have reacted equally or worse than you did?
Similarly, at least.
Similarly. And I'm not even categorizing it at worst, because I think what you did was sort of almost a natural human reaction in your situation.
I've asked my therapist, my girlfriend, and I'm trying to trying to understand where my blind spots are for sure. Because it is clear that I feel like I'm showing up well, but maybe I'm missing the mark somewhere.
Well, for what it's worth, one of the things I know we appreciated about you was the pursuit of self-improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not achieving self-improvement, the pursuit of it is goes a really long way. And you can't not eventually improve if you don't try. And a lot of people don't even admit that there's something wrong.
And also if you don't make mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no way to improve without making mistakes. I find it so funny that people have come at you for being a drug addict or an alcoholic, which, whether you are or not is irrelevant. But the fact that they're coming at you for being that, instead of where in many other cases, like, oh, he's an addict, he needs help. Let's have sympathy for him. Like, why are you a bad guy now for being an addict, as they've called you? That's what I find so cruel, is that there's no sympathy. There's like, oh, you're a bad person because you're an addict. Not, oh, you're an addict, so we should have some sympathy for you, even if he's not an addict.
Yeah, well, it's not taking into account the situation and why he's behaving the way he is, given the situation. And for what it's worth, one of the things I felt I learned about human nature was, unfortunately, that people they want to assume the worst in others. And that was a really unfortunate takeaway. And especially since I don't really feel like I do that, I tend to overly give people the benefit of the doubt. So if anything, going through that experience made me lean even harder into the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Where it's like, maybe I give even more benefit of the doubt than I did before, but just because you want to combat that. We just talked to Taylor and Garrett from Love is Blind, and how, Garrett had said one thing and how everyone now was calling him something, even though you have all this evidence to the contrary. It's like they want to see that. They want to see that version of him.
It's very divided. And I saw that in the comments with Sandy and my comments. There's like Team Nick, Team Sandy. And it's like, Sandy's a good human. She's doing her thing, and we weren't meant to be together. We found that out through the show. She's made some choices that I don't agree with. And I don't feel that she made choices that definitely don't align with somebody that I want to be with. But we went on a dating show to date other people. So
the show served its purpose for you.
Yeah, it certainly did. I don't think that anybody recognizes how, if they shine the light on themselves and look in a mirror of how they're behaving through a breakup, how they're crying or what they're experiencing emotionally, because I was genuinely going through a breakup.
Right. Mm-hmm. And, but also in the worst imaginable way, like cartoonishly bad.
Yeah. Andy thought your situation was not to make light of it, but he was laughing at how cartoonishly bad it was.
Yeah, it couldn't have. I can't even imagine how it would be worse, unless you had like a see-through ceiling or something. I don't know. Yeah, even that would be better, but at least you know what was going on. And
I mean, I was being told by Sandy through it that I had nothing to worry about, that they had brother sister vibes and certain things, and I kind of knew that she was trying to make me feel better, but I could feel that they had a connection. I don't if it was a forever connection or not. It's very clear, it's palpable. You could tell that they were energetically drawn to each other from the start.
Sure, very
affectionate. That was from what I saw. When we started to go do the group dates, and she was starting to sit near him and spend. It was just whoa, this is real. And it's very possible that I've been cheated on in my life. I don't know. I don't know for fact. It's going through young relationships and earlier in my life. I'm sure it's happened, but I didn't know. This felt like I knew. This felt like I was oh my gosh, my person has fallen for somebody else, and I'm.
You don't even have someone to cheat on her with.
Yeah.
Or even talk to about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to tie in something about you that I think is really unique, especially in the reality TV world. But you are an artist, a working artist. And your art comes up in the show, not as much as I honestly wanted, because I think it's probably a huge part of your life and how you work through things. And I want to touch on something that happened on the show. When you were having a very difficult time, you start painting, creating your art. And then later on, it's discussed as you running away from your feelings, like escaping your feelings and not working through them. Do you think Sandy was correct or false in saying that? How do you regard working on your art?
I wonder how much of that was
Edited?
clipped. Yeah.
Ooh.
I would be there's a lot of issues I have with my relationship with Sandy and certain things that I don't, look back on and feel good about. I would be very surprised if she said anything negative about my art. Now, if Mariah had said, because I do remember there was a point when Mariah and I were discussing journaling. And I said that, my process is not necessarily always to write, but a lot of times I'll go to the paintbrush and I'll literally write out in brushstrokes or whatever what I'm going through to kind of purge the thought. And she said, well, my method or process is journaling. I said, that's great. And I think she took that as like, I don't want to journal. I don't think that's, healthy or something to that effect, because she did come back to me after that night, the girls' night, and tell me that she had mentioned to Sandy that I wasn't journaling. And I think they may have, I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay, that does make sense to me, because I remember when that happened and Sandy had the reaction she had about you painting. I was like, how the hell did these two date?
Yeah.
Because to me, the creation of art is very much working through feelings.
Right. Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
I actually was shocked that you weren't painting more. Like, I was like, when is this guy going to start painting?
Every day.
Okay.
When's he going to start painting? Paint
Yeah,
more.
I'd be painting if I was in a situation.
Yeah,
I don't even
Andy
paint.
doesn't paint.
I'd start painting if I was in your situation.
We should show him your banana.
Okay, I'm going to show him the banana. You tell me. I want your actual critic.
So one time I was like, we're going to paint today. And Andy was like, okay. And he said, I don't know what to paint. And so I put a banana in front of him.
Oh, wow. That's great. What did you use? Is that pastel?
I don't give away my secrets, Nick.
That's really good. Actually, the composition on that's really good.
He's really nice.
This is very sweet. Thank you.
So a little backstory. Can I tell a little backstory? Give it back to me. He'll appreciate this. He takes
like
the
that.
yellow straight out of
now
the
you don't have to
tube.
ruin it. She has to ruin
He
it.
takes the yellow straight out of the tube. It's like a bright yellow, and just starts painting it. And I was like, that you can't do that. That's not the shade of yellow. So then I had to mix the yellow for him. And then that spot turned into a bruise.
Oh, a bruise. It's a bruised banana.
Yeah.
It's a bruise.
That-
Come on.
What does that mean to you, Andy? How does that
Yeah.
feel?
This.
Yeah. It's symbolic.
Oh, I know what you're trying to say over there, Nick. But now that you mention it, I see that.
I like it.
Thank you.
And art brings laughter and discussion, and it opens up a portal to look at things through a different lens. And that's what's always been attracted to me about it. All forms, photography and acrylic and spray painting and all that stuff. I was literally painting almost every day for at least half the day. So they showed a little bit of who I am on that show, and it wasn't what I was doing, but it's a show. I don't know how many people would be sitting there wanting to watch an artist paint. I think they wanted to see.
Yeah.
I
wanted
did.
to see more
I
painting.
did, yeah.
I was into the brush strokes.
We were interested in that for what it's worth.
I was actually horrified by that conversation. Whether it was edited or not, that's where you became a hero for me. When I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with everybody but Nick.
Yeah, we had a hard time with that. Well, speaking of being an artist, at the reunion, you famously said that being in a relationship with an artist is hard. So I wanted to know if you think to be a good artist is to be at least somewhat tortured.
That's a good question. I've been processing that a lot lately. It's a good one. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think that as somebody who is creative, and I think with a lot of my friends who are either musicians or painters, there is a draw towards the darker side of things. I mean, how often do you hear a song that's memorable that was happy? I mean, we draw from heartache and depressing moments, and like there is a lot more energy and feeling in those places. I certainly would like to think that I can paint both happy and sad. But I think a lot of my stronger pieces show through when I'm not in the greatest place.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's honest.
I mean, I think it's universal. I think you get Bob Ross and Hootie and the Blowfish, or you get Van Gogh. There's no arguing it.
Yeah. And even Bob was a kink.
Oh, yeah? Did not know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
All right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You can elaborate.
He was sleeping with everyone at the network. I mean, he had multiple girlfriends, and he was not a monogamous individual, to say
It
the
was
least.
that voice.
That's an interesting expression to mountains and trees when you're...
No, he was the voice. That ASMR voice lured them in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How could you resist?
Yeah, those trees and mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sad because I think he drew an audience that was really starting to, like, he's one of the only people I can think of that has used entertainment or television on some level to get people to paint. You know, there's no painting shows. It's not a popular, I mean, art is immensely popular in its space and going to galleries and all that stuff, but entertainment wise, it doesn't really match. It doesn't fit in that space. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. But Bob,
he was a
He made it work. Yeah, I mean, an icon.
Now I can't stop picturing him painting naked.
Well, so looking back at the paintings, I don't know if it was plural or not, that you created while on the show, and you were going through such a dark time, do you feel that it's some of your better work?
I mean, they sold immediately, so there's something to that. That was before people knew that I was on the show. I sold them like within a month's time of them being available. They definitely changed, and that was one of the things I was disappointed about that they didn't capture, because there was a progression through them, and there were moments in them that, like, I was feeling softer, I was feeling more connected to Sandy, I was more hopeful, and there was a little lighter and more pinks and airy tones, and then by the end they were pretty hectic, and you know, there was a lot of different parts of the piece that were communicating what I was going through. I was writing little notes in them and doing little characters, and I could send you guys pictures of it, but they only showed me doing like one tiny, you know, a corner of one piece, and that was it.
Yeah. Oh. Is it ever hard letting a piece of art go? I mean, it's like a piece of you.
Not really.
Really?
No.
So, okay. I mean, that's a true artist right there. That's like, it's a business. You let it go. You create it and you let it go.
Go into the universe. Take that cash.
I have one or two that I like that I haven't really pushed, but they identify where I was. They were like two of the pieces that I started where I started to actually make money from doing it and becoming, you know, successful at it. And they were just something that I actually didn't hold on to. My family pulled away and put them in storage. So, but yeah, I mean, it is a business. I like the idea of other people enjoying, you know, what I've done and having an appreciation, even if it's not my intention. Them having their own perspective on it is really cool to see.
I imagine it's like being a songwriter and people knowing the lyrics to your song. Like that's got to be such a pinch me moment. Yeah. It's like the minute someone pays money for a painting that you made. I mean, what better validation is there that you're doing what you should be doing? I think that's really cool.
Very cool career you have. That is very rare. Yeah. You're making a living as a painter. Is not necessarily commercial. You don't do a lot of commercial work, I assume, or do you? I don't know.
I mean, I did a couple murals, but General Public is a company that Portia de Rossi owns, and she hired me to do a big mural for their corporate offices. But no, I haven't done like much commercial work. Before I was able to paint for a living, I was in the high-end car trading business. So that also did open up through my 20s, like late 20s, I was buying, selling, flipping exotic cars. And that did open up a client base for me that was, you know, able to purchase art.
It's so interesting. Your eyes are really it's your eyes. Everyone has a thing. Yeah. For Andy, what's yours? It's
my nose. Smell things really well.
Mine's ears, nose, eyes. Yeah, between the three of us, we've really got everything covered.
Who's your favorite painter?
Yeah.
I love Franz Klein. I mean, I dig the old impressionist stuff. I like, if I had to, I mean, obviously Banksy's an easy throw but I do love the politicism of it and like him actually having a message through whatever he or she is doing.
There's one near us.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty cool. They're so
awesome
to have something that powerful, to have like groups of people flock to it, and also have it be such a a controversial thing, especially like is that public art? Is it private? Is it private? It's on your wall. It's quite a story he's told. So its storytelling is exceptional. I resonate with a lot of different artists, but I do think that some of the more like interesting moments that I've had with artists are when they are struggling to find inspiration, and they'll try to go do things, or like that's just one of the cool things about either being a photographer or songwriter and anything to do with creating something organic from your own person is like you've got to go pull it from somewhere. It doesn't just pop up. I mean, for me, it doesn't. I think that gives you a pursuit and a passion for life that's not necessarily the norm, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. I mean, you're a singer.
Yes, I am a singer, but I don't create, which I've spent time.
Oh, you created podcasts.
I did create podcasts. This is my creation, but I kind of went through a bit of a crisis partway into my singing career where I realized that I was just like a puppet. And I wasn't actually creating. Like I was put in a costume and told where to stand, how to act, and what tempo to sing at, what volume to sing at. And that was a very jarring moment, as I consider myself a creative person and I had pursued this so-called creative field, and to suddenly be faced with that. But I've since come to terms with it and like found ways to be creative within it. And obviously that depends on who I'm working with, like how much flexibility I have. But I do deeply admire people who have the ability to just create from like you said, it's like from themselves. It's like giving birth to something over and over again.
Yeah, out of nothing.
Absolutely.
Out of nothing. Yeah. Well, to circle back to what we were talking about a moment ago, and then we're going to move
Bob
on
Ross?
to...
No. I think that's what got us off track, which is a beautiful thing. AG1 is what you have first thing in the morning. AG1 is what you start every day with to make yourself feel good and right in the tummy.
So AG1 is our comprehensive daily nutrition. And basically it has your vitamins, minerals, your pre and probiotics, your whole food sourced ingredients, all distilled down into this green powder. You can see how much we love this. There's not much left in this canister, is there?
No.
I need to refill this.
Yeah.
But basically, this lives in your fridge. That's where it goes after you've opened the package, so it stays nice and fresh. We take a scoop, we put in a glass of water. First thing in the morning, we give it a froth.
A whisk.
A whisk. I like to add a little bit of lemon juice to mine
nice.
to make it kind of sing.
I go just au naturel.
Yeah. You take it straight up. Mm-hmm. And it sure beats taking an array of vitamins and minerals and different pills in the morning.
I feel more energized, more able to start my day. I mean, that may sound corny.
It sounds dramatic, but it's entirely true.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's been so long since I've had travel constipation. I almost miss the feeling.
Oh, yes. Because AG1, we truly feel like resets our systems.
Oh.
We first noticed this big time in Australia, when we went to Australia and New Zealand.
Huge time difference.
Yes. And it's kind of debilitating. Like you have this idea, you're like, oh, I'll go for 2 weeks. But actually it's at the 2-week mark when you're finally adjusting and suddenly you're flying home. With AG1, it's like my body, because I take it first thing in the morning, my body was like, oh, it's morning now. Oh, here's a nice movement.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize we were going to go that detail.
No. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I don't know.
Why
I think it was very clear what we were talking about. You didn't have to describe what's coming out of you.
No, So this new year, try AG1 for yourself. It's the perfect time to start a healthy new habit.
AG1 is offering new subscribers a $76 gift when you sign up.
You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, plus 5 free travel packs in your first box.
So go to drinkag1.com/DearShandy to get this offer.
Again, that's drinkag1.com/DearShandy to start your new year on a healthier note.
So Charlene, it's that time of year where we have to start.
What? ZocDoc.
Wow.
They have a jingle.
It's a jingle. I'm a little offended they didn't use one of my jingles, but it's nice. I like it.
It sounds like health being restored.
That's the sound of your health stepping up a level.
Yes.
Bing.
Bing. So ZocDoc is a magnificent platform for you and your health. It's helping you look after yourself. It's helping you help you.
Yeah,
Isn't that
and it's
nice?
helping you overcome the friction that there inherently is in making doctor's appointments, even finding a doctor, even figuring out how to find a doctor.
Yes. So with ZocDoc, you search based on your location, and then you can even filter those results based on whether or not that doctor takes your insurance, which is obviously massive. And by the way, with ZocDoc, you also get reviews.
And you get so many of them.
Thousands.
Hundreds of reviews for one doctor.
Yes.
Thousands sometimes.
Yes, from patients like yourself.
When I was a young man, you used to find out about doctors through word of mouth, from one person. So you got to make sure that one person knew exactly what was going on with that doctor.
You want to crowdsource.
I want 1,000 of that person.
Yes. And then the cherry on top is that you can book an appointment right there through ZocDoc. You see the availability right there. Some of these appointments are available within 24 to 72 hours. And I love also in ZocDoc, they have a dashboard where you have all your upcoming appointments, and they also keep track of your past appointments. So if you are overdue, let's say it's been a year and a half since your last physical, they're like, hey, it's been a year and a half since your last physical. Who else is helping you help yourself like that?
You need this. This isn't a thing. We're not saying, oh, you should use ZocDoc because it's, it's nice.
No, this should be required.
This is required.
This is mandatory for existing.
Be no different than being required to have health insurance or being required to have car insurance when you buy a car. You need ZocDoc as a human.
I agree. So ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment.
So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Shandy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/Shandy, ZocDoc.com/Shandy. So back to that famous line that being in a relationship with an artist is hard. Or you might have said not easy. Hard, not easy. What would you say to people who took that line as being a cop-out for poor relationship behavior?
I don't know that that was the most poignant thing I've ever said. Like that whole reunion I was feeling real good going into it. I was like, all right, everything's the way it is. I did not anticipate the questions coming at me that hard. I don't think it's a excuse to treat your partner poorly or to be absent. I just know that I was in a cycle through creating a series of work that I was working on going into the show where I was probably not as attentive to, what Sandy was looking for in the relationship. And that's also a point in which I can just walk away, right? To me, it comes down to how you want to spend your time with your partner. Some people want to sit across the couch from each other while they're watching TV. Some people want to be completely wrapped up in each other while they're watching TV. I think that I was trying to just have the perspective that I'm not for everyone and nobody else is here either for everyone, but we have our little idiosyncrasies that make us, who we are. And the person that's right for you will love those things and honor them and support them. And the person that's wrong for you, it will feel uncomfortable. But I don't think I needed it to blanket statement like that. I was probably a little much.
I could defend that statement. I think that artists live in a different plane and they have to, because they have to create art you can't create art out of only light. And you can't create art out of the same lane that all people walk in. So I think there has to be some exception for an artist. And I think that that was
but
a
not
reason.
For behavior.
Not for bad. I'm not saying that you date an artist, you have to accept that you're going to be miserable.
Yeah, but I think we both, I know you said it wasn't the most poignant thing you've ever said, but for what it's worth, it actually did resonate with both of us.
I think you were just saying that it's different. It's different and that, it's good and it's bad, but it's different and it's a lot.
Yeah. And it will work when it works, it works.
Right.
And when it doesn't work, it very clearly doesn't work. Yeah.
I thought it was a reasonable statement.
I recognize that there are two, like, I guess there were two volumes to me in that space. Like, going into the show, I was certainly in my own world. I was painting a lot. I was internal. And then on the show, I was clearly external because I was reacting to something emotional. And I was, I was probably going through an emotional thing with no real loving support. And I don't know that artists or non-artists, anybody has the recipe for that. It's just, you shouldn't have to deal with that stuff alone.
Do you think to be an artist is to be sensitive?
I hope. I mean, I think that especially if you're going to speak some truth and put yourself out there, you have to be sensitive, but you also have to have thick skin because especially now, like, the criticism is different than, I don't know if I've made more or lost more through this. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really taken a beat on it, but there's a lot of criticism because people have an opinion about who I am. And if I'm super sensitive about that, I'm, like, I can't let that be part of my heartbeat. I just can't.
So Nick, Ruby, shh. Our dog is in her little crate. Your dog is so cute, by the way.
Thank you. She's amazing.
Is it Coda?
Coda, yeah.
Oh.
She's a wild one. She's great. She's a Kelpie Shepherd mix, rescue, and her personality is hilarious. I mean, she's special.
Isn't it great how dogs make us laugh at least once a day for as long as they're alive? Isn't that great?
I mean, I don't know how you could live without one. They're incredible. They're just
mystical creatures.
We've had ours since February, and I will never be without a dog for the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's bizarre to think about our life before dog.
And
we had to just deal with each other.
I know. What were we doing? And now, like, when I meet another dog person, I just like them more, like, automatically.
And it's great to just meet people, like, you talk to people through the dog in the street that you would never talk to in your life. And then you can have these quick, clean goodbyes where you don't even have to say goodbye. You're just like, okay, see ya.
Totally. And you don't even know their names. I like about their dogs' names.
Just connected through the dog. Anyway, okay, moving on.
Okay, so Nick, you have a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. I do.
What's she like?
She's amazing. I got to give her a lot of credit for going through this experience and, being strong. It can't be easy. We've been dating for 6 months now, and so we started dating before the show aired. I had a concept of what it was going to be, and she saw it with me before we went to the reunion, which was really grounding for me. She's in functional medicine. She's in health and wellness. She's a very, very special human being, and I'm extremely grateful for her. And I don't think I could have done any of this without her. That's for sure. This is so. It was definitely a mirror image to show what I'm going through now.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I just want to drop something here because
is there a piece of wisdom being dropped, Andy?
Thanks to give.
Oh.
I have thanks to give to a couple of women in my life who have broken up with me against my will. And do you feel that kind of gratitude to Sandy for forcing you to go so that you can be in this relationship? And in no way is this bad mouthing Sandy, like you're saying this is better. I'm just saying, do you feel that kind of gratitude? Like, thank you for making the decision for me.
Yeah.
It's never a simple answer, is it?
I am grateful that Sandy and I, figured it out before it dragged on too long. Like, I think we would have stayed in a relationship much longer had the show not come up. That's for sure. And then I may not have been where I'm at now with who I'm with. I think that
it's okay. You're grateful. You're grateful. He's grateful.
I don't know if he's grateful.
Okay. It's okay. You can say it.
Okay. Will you come on with your girlfriend for a love fest one of these days?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
We have a quick rapid fire, and then we have 3 quick questions. So rapid fire, you're going to give one word to describe each of your castmates.
Oh boy.
Chanel.
Left.
Nice.
So Micah also left?
Yeah, no, Micah was cool. Micah and Chanel were cool. I thought they were great.
Okay. So cool and cool. Vanessa.
Cool and Chanel is like soothing. She has this very like soothing presence. Yep.
Vanessa.
Complex.
Dave.
Pass.
I mean, goofy.
Nice.
Mariah.
Growing.
Ooh,
Scotty.
I like that.
Scotty is. Well, we have to talk because the Scotty that this is because like Scotty's been really supportive.
He came to your defense at the reunion.
We saw that. Yeah. You could pass on Scotty.
No,
That's
you
good.
can also. I mean,
Well, I would say it's supportive, like a
Supportive.
friend.
Right.
Yeah,
Very good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sandy.
A star.
Zaina.
A big star.
Caleb.
A vibe.
Aria.
Aria is very dynamic.
JR.
Strong.
Physically or just physically, right?
I think he's going through it too. I mean, he's made his mistakes, but he's a human. And he's taking a lot of heat. I mean, lot of heat. You got to be strong as hell to take that kind of heat. And even to walk through with his head held high, like.
Okay, Nick, before we let you go, 3 quick questions. Do you believe in ultimatums?
Well, it seems that in the past of this show, it's worked out. So, but our season didn't seem to be that way. So I think it's a way to accelerate an answer. It did work out for me, even though it was a struggle. I don't think an ultimatum needed to be that difficult.
Will we see you on reality TV again?
I have no idea. I would be open to something that's, challenging and like a game sort of experience. I'm not interested in, obviously, I'm very happy and I'm hopeful that this is it for me. So that is not like, I don't need to go on another dating show for sure.
So maybe like Hollywood Squares type of thing.
I mean, something that's fun.
I
or
think
like
in art, like
or
they have that that glass blowing elimination show. I feel like there should be like an artist one.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Is it cake?
Is it cake?
I could see that. I could see that.
Okay, Nick, final question. Are or are you not a cuckold?
I am not the cuckold. No.
All right.
Not at
Okay. All right. We settled it.
Yeah, I have my things, but that's not one of them.
All right.
Good answer. Nick Tramontin, thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time chatting with you.
Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. I appreciate it.
A pleasure. If you're ever in New York, we want you to reach out and possibly give us a painting lesson.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Another banana. A banana for all.
A better banana.
Stay safe out there, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Boom.
Tear them off, Andy. Be free.
Say what you want about this guy. I like him.
I like him too. We got kind of hate for liking Nick.
Isn't that funny when you get hate for liking someone that people don't like? That's the best. That's the best kind of hate because you can almost distance yourself from it. It's not like directly at you.
Yeah.
And you can analyze it and be like, wow, I'm hated for liking something.
I more so understand being hated for hating someone than being hated for liking someone that they hate.
Right. Although if you take it to an extreme, I can picture myself hating someone who likes someone who I really, really hate. But I can't believe that the same level of hate is out there for a guy like Nick that is out there for some of the people that I'm thinking of.
What I find interesting about Nick is like, it's obvious he's not perfect. But the thing is, the first person who would raise his hand at not being perfect is Nick.
Of course. And who wants someone to be perfect? Who wants a perfect person? First of all, no one's perfect. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But who wants to date someone who's perfect?
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound fun?
The art stuff was really interesting to me.
Very interesting.
How he could say, like, I have to admit, like, the art that I create when I'm in my darkest times, like, that's like a tortured way to live because you want to be proud of what you create and like love what you create, but for it to come at a cost. Like, I do think that that's a difficult way to live. I'm not saying that he deserves a pass or anything, but I think that the tortured artist thing, it's real.
I think the artists that are somehow able to navigate great art without being tortured or feeling a tremendous amount of suffering are the luckiest of all people.
Yeah.
To be a great artist. Like, I think of people like, I don't know, like sometimes I think of like Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger, like, I don't know what's going on with Mick Jagger's life. I've read some stuff about him. Seems like he's had a pretty good life.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't see that guy as being a tortured soul. I think I see him as being introspective, poetic, and maybe, emotional at times. But I don't know. It seems like the guy just somehow escaped torture.
Yeah.
They exist, I'm saying. But most art is created out of darkness and suffering and emotional discomfort. So... It's yay for art.
Well, same with humor. Like, you always talk about how Will Ferrell is the one comedian you could think of who's not miserable.
Apparently, I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and that's maybe behind closed doors. He's actually miserable.
Yeah, who knows? But the sad clown, that's universal, right? Great comedy comes from great sadness and suffering.
Generally,
at some point
the
in your
funnier
life.
the person, probably the sadder they are.
Yeah, comedy doesn't come from joy.
No.
There's nothing funny about joy. Joy is nice. Joy is pleasant. I like joy. Everyone likes joy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make funny.
No.
Funny is a defense response to pain and suffering.
Yeah.
That's why Jews are funny. We've been through the ringer for like 5,000 years.
Are all Jews funny?
No, but the Jews are on average more funny than I think other people.
It was a natural follow-up question.
Yeah. Not every Jew is funny. I've met some unfunny Jews. But I think that the cost that artists pay for the art that we get for free is pain. And I think in his case, I think it's totally reasonable for him to say it's difficult to date an artist. I don't think that's obnoxious or narcissistic or self-absorbed. I think it's just a fact. It's like if you're dating an artist on average, unless it's Mick Jagger, in which case, by the way, if it is Mick Jagger, you're probably getting cheated on left and right. But I'm not, no judgment. I mean, the guy, he got around. But if you're dating an artist, on average, you're going to be dating someone who's emotionally, all over the place. You're going to get the good highs and you get the bad lows.
Well, I think the goal is that they find a match who, there's a little more stabilizing for them.
Sure.
And I think we can both say this. I mean, we're not artists in the same way, or maybe at all. But
I mean, the banana.
it was some.
Who knows?
He approved. You think he was just being nice?
No, I think that banana is it's my great masterpiece.
It was really sweet, his reaction to your banana.
Nice.
Actually,
yeah, he really won me over with it.
Yeah. The bruised banana. Where were we going with that? I lost my way. We've talked before about how in the past we've been with partners who brought out our worst selves.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
We were our most tumultuous, talk about highs and lows. In other relationships with people who just drove me insane and who I probably drove insane. If that were aired on reality TV, are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
What people would come at me about?
If my worst responses to relationship situations were aired on TV, I'd be a villain. No question.
Yeah, same.
No question.
Oh, I would be, people would be, let's think I'm the biggest bitch.
We're monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very easy to sling insults and hate at people like Nick. He who cast the first stone, right? Please. As if anyone hasn't ever acted terribly in a relationship.
I actually think one of Nick's, I don't want to say mistakes, but I think one of the things that he does that works against him is he is as honest as he is.
Yes, exactly. He's being punished for being honest.
Yeah, when he talks about having used drugs or how he was drinking too much, and he says it in this way, and he has this Nick face. He's like, well, I was really drinking a lot.
Yeah. I was really
his eyes are downcast, his eyebrows are lifted. And I think it's easy to look at that and be like, okay, he's an alcoholic. Oh my God, he's terrible. Oh my God, he's a drug addict.
Why are you judging him for being an alcoholic? Have empathy. That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me on top of everything else. But go ahead.
But I also think it's possible that it's not necessarily a bigger problem than it is for someone else who maybe won't admit it and then who gets by without that kind of criticism is all I'm saying. It's not a pass. I'm just saying I think he's one of those people that draws attention to the flaw about himself, to the thing that can be criticized, and then he gets criticized for it. And maybe he said he's looking for feedback. I actually think that's one of his things. It's you don't have to be that honest.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, first of all, number one, the situation he was put in reality TV was the worst situation I've ever seen anybody put in all the shows we have watched. Every episode, I've never seen it that bad.
Yeah.
So I give him a lot of grace for his response. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Was it what I would expect from a lot of guys?
Yes.
Absolutely. Secondly, in these reality TV shows, everyone's lying all the time. That's why, like, at the end of these shows, when they sort of run out of lies, when they're sort of cornered, or after the show, when you find out the real story, you're like, oh, this person's actually a jerk. I got fooled. Like Devin, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're lying the whole time. That's the art. The art of being on reality TV is just lie, 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 as long as you can. And maybe you can get to the end of the show lying. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Yeah. Do that. Okay. But Nick, excuse me, I haven't finished my point. Nick never lied. He made a cardinal, he committed cardinal sin in reality TV. You have to lie. He never lied. He was honest the whole time, and he paid for it in blood. He's a cautionary tale.
Yes.
Don't tell the truth on a reality show.
No. Play the game.
Unless the truth is just amazing.
Okay. Point made.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can wrap there. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to chat with him.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Intriguing character.
Yeah. I found Nick very compelling, and as much as part of me and maybe part of him wishes that he had left early on when he said to Vanessa, I'm willing to leave too. Do you want to leave?
Yeah.
Like, part of me is like, yeah, get out of there. The other side of me is like, think about how much he's learned. I think he is still digesting. When he said, I'm still not sure whether I've come out with like more pros or cons, like whether or not this was a good move for me in life. I think no matter what it was, because talk about lessons learned about yourself, nothing faces you with yourself like going on reality TV. And then his was like mega. So I think that I just think no matter what, he will come out on top.
And honestly, Vanessa's claim that he wasn't homeschooled enough to warrant a reference to homeschooling is all I need to know that people are coming at Nick for the wrong reasons.
Not homeschooled enough.
If that's the accuser, I'm not trusting
that's
her.
Funny. Okay, I think that's where we can wrap, Andy. Oh, you have more you want to say. Oh, Andy has a lot to say about Nick. I think it's what Nick represents.
Yeah, I think Nick's just like he's a complicated guy. Like, why can't reality TV accept that not everyone fits this perfect little mold that, is very respectful, never out of line, emotionally balanced, perfect gentleman, no drug problems, no alcohol problems.
Yeah.
Calls his
but also
mother
fun.
every day.
Also fun though, not
fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Clean, good, clean, fun.
Yeah, likes to go to nice restaurants, travel, enjoys travel.
Yeah.
Dresses well.
Yeah.
Why does everyone have to be like that? It's not that interesting. It's nice, I guess.
Yeah. No,
it's not bad.
Okay. Can we wrap?
Yeah, we can do it.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok,
leave us Apple and
Spotify
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye. Dear Shandy.